Hello. I wanted to talk today about getting to understand how to see a card reading, and I thought you could learn. There's a lot of books out there on how to interpret the tarot cards, and going over each meaning of every card. And that's good. I mean, you have to know that, and so most sources out there will explain this to you, because it's very basic to know that. But in order to really read, you have to know how to see the card spread, and each card spread will be different. Every reading you do will be different than the one you did before. And I thought chess was a good analogy on how to think about that. And if you, I'm not going to get into the game of chess. We're talking about tarot cards, but everybody's sort of familiar with how chess works, and that's all you need to know to see what I'm talking about here. If you buy a book on chess, it's a big gadget. Chess here. In that book, they'll go over each piece of a chess set, and the king and the bishop and all of this. They'll go over all of this, and it's important that you know how to use that. It'll also show you how to set the board up where white square is in the lower right, and queens are on their own color, facing each other, and how to move the pieces or interpret the pieces. Bishops move diagonally, rooks move vertically and horizontally, and so on with each piece. And this is important. But the game of chess, which is centuries old, just like tarot cards, it's a classic. It's also an art. And in order to be good at it, you have to really be able to see the board and to see what's going on. And every game you play, certain pieces will be more important, more key than other pieces. And to be able to see what move to make next, the best move to make, is what makes you good or just an average player. In tarot cards, we do the same thing. You buy a source, you get a source on tarot cards, a book. You're going to have a lot. There will be a lot of information there about what the cards mean. Just like with chess, you're going to have information about how the pieces move, what each piece means. But in a card reading, you're going to see. You're looking at a question. Now you have to see that card spread, and you have to see the cards that are there in some way that has the best meaning you can get from those cards into what you're trying to accomplish. And so seeing a card spread is pretty much just like playing a game of chess, is that you have to see what you're doing and how one card will interact with another, and is this the best way to interact, or should this card interact with this card over here, or should it act with this one down below here? And how should I interpret the card? And that sounds a little confusing maybe, but it's not really confusing. It's just a matter of being able to see it and say, okay, this looks like the best way to look at this reading. And that's what's going to make a successful way of seeing the cards in some way, for some insight that's valuable to the client that you're reading and what you're trying to accomplish. How well can you see those cards? And that's something that really can't be taught in a book. It can be taught as it's important to know, but only you can do that. So practicing, learning how to see the cards in various ways in a spread is like learning how to play the game of chess and seeing how the pieces can move in various ways in the game you're playing. It's the same type of thing. And I think that's a good analogy. So the cards can mean different things for different readings. We study a lot about the symbolism of the cards and the meanings of the cards, and we have all these various different tarot decks out there, but really what's important is learning how to see the cards, whatever deck you're using. And I think it's important that's why I think it's also important to have a consistency in your card spread. At least down to a couple card spreads, just like you have a consistency with a chessboard. So you have something that's consistent, because the reading itself will not be consistent. Each reading will be different. And each question you read, each client you read will be different. The circumstance will be different. What you're looking in to find answers to will be different. So the cards have to be able to shift and have importance, various importance in the position it's laid into and its meaning in this particular question. So studying the symbolism and that kind of thing, that's all wonderful, and I think it's great. There's great sources about it out there. But I really think what you really want to focus on is learning how to see the cards for a particular reading. Which card seems the most significant in this reading? Where's the message? Where are we going with this? Where's an opportunity to find an answer on something? And it's like looking at a game of chess. So I think it helps you, looking at it that way helps you see what it is we're doing, maybe with a little bit more clarity than just trying to think, well, okay, I'm going to memorize the cards now, and then now I'm going to know how to read. That's like saying, if I know the way the pieces move on a chessboard, I could become a master chess player. Not the case. So take your cards, put them out, look at a question, keep your spread consistent, and learn how to see your cards to come up with some messages that you think might be useful. Learn how to see them in the spread. I think that would be the best thing you can do if you want to study the tarot. Learn how to see the cards and how they can interact with each other to come up with something useful for what you're looking into. Just like you would look at a game of chess, and what move would I make this time versus this move versus that move. Each game will be different. And each tarot card reading you do will be different. So, it's your move.